has bad instincts. This guy Podesta's a nasty guy. Man, I wouldn't want people speaking like me, about me behind my back, but he said bad instincts. Bernie Sanders said about Hillary Clinton, bad judgment. So she's got bad instincts. She's got bad judgment. You take a look at all of the harm and all of the things she's done. It's a mess. She gave us ISIS, the vacuum, her and Obama. It started off as nothing. Remember the JV team? He's a real genius. The JV team. Now it's in 32 countries. And then she gets up, I will stop ISIS. She has no chance. They are dreaming that Hillary Clinton becomes president. ISIS, their number one dream. Hillary Clinton, let her become president. She's the one that allowed it to form. She's the one that watched it go. Now they say it's in 32 countries. Worse than ever. The change includes a new foreign policy that puts America first. Hillary Clinton's foreign policy has squandered trillions of American wealth overseas. Yet for all the money spent, all Clinton delivered was death, destruction, and terrorism all over the world. She unleashed ISIS and the turmoil in Iraq and Syria and Libya and, by the way, our country, because she's allowing from Syria 550% more people from Syria, the migration, to come into our country. We don't know who they are. And that's over and above the thousands and thousands of people that Obama's letting pour into our country. We have no idea who they are. But believe me, it's like the story of the Trojan horse. And I don't want people looking back at us in 100 years and 200 years and saying that's the modern day Trojan horse. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. We're going to shut that door, and we're going to shut it tight. Next, trigger happy. And she's trigger happy. She looks weak, and she looks ineffective. And you watch her at the end of the debate where she's like exhausted. She could hardly make it to her car. Oh, let's get out. Let's go. The end of the debate, two of them, she was like exhausted. But she's trigger happy. And she wants to start shooting wars in Syria. What the hell are we doing with Syria? So now Russia's on the side of Syria. We created a monster with Iran by giving them $150 billion. How about the $1.7 billion that we gave in cash? It'd fill up this whole stage. How about the $1.7 billion in cash that we thought was $400 million? You remember? How about the 800 people that were getting ready for deportation because they weren't exactly the finest? When this country deports somebody, they've got to be bad. So they have 800 people ready for deportation. This is 2 weeks ago. And guess what happened? They made a mistake. Congratulations. They became citizens of the United States instead of being deported. Except that was incorrect, because it wasn't 800. It was almost 1,800 people. To which I said, okay, you made a mistake. Let's undo it. Undo it and send them out. They said, we can't do that. That would be unconstitutional. How stupid are we? How stupid are our leaders? So she's got bad judgment. She's got bad instinct and just is reckless and far too reckless to be allowed into the Oval Office. I mean, look what she's done. Hillary also started the negotiations that led to the Iran deal, and thus ultimately leading to the $1.7 billion. Think of it. We paid $1.7 billion for ransom. you know, you can call it whatever you want, and it was in cash. This man knows. That was in cash. And it wasn't even in green because they wanted denominations and they wanted currency of other countries. That's probably because they figure anybody that makes a deal so stupid, I don't want to bank on that deal anymore. Let me get the currency from another country. Clinton gave Iran everything they wanted and more, including we gave them Iraq. Folks, we're fighting for Mosul. The reason we went in my opinion, was Obama wanted to show what a tough guy he is before the election. But it's not working so good because they dug in. So about 3 months ago, I started reading that we're going to attack Mosul. And the reason we're attacking is, and I've heard this for a long time, the ISIS leaders are supposed to be ensconced in Mosul. I've been hearing that for a long time. Everybody has, right? Okay. So if they're there, and these we do know they're smart people, right? If they're there, why are we giving them all of this information? What happened to the element of surprise? Remember the old little saying, the element of surprise. So for 3 months I'm reading, we're going to Mosul and we're going to get those people out. Well, those people left about 2 seconds after they heard they were going. They're gone. But what isn't gone and who isn't gone are fighters. And they're using human shields, and they've got tunnels, and it's turning out to be a mess. We are so stupid. We have the stupidest leadership, whether it's on trade or military. But think about Mosul. We want to get the leaders. Why don't we go in and knock the hell out of them and don't talk? And let's talk. Let's talk in about 5 days because you'll knock them out fast with the leader. So the leaders now are gone. And they have fighters that are fighting to the death, and it's turning out to be very tough. And they are using human shields. Can you imagine in this day and age? Can you imagine the poor people living there? They're using human shields. Can you imagine the great General George Patton or Douglas MacArthur or any of our great generals? Can you imagine what these people must think? Right? Spinning in their grave. The stupidity of what we do. So, the people that we want have long gone. I've been reading about it for how long? 3-4 months that we're going in? Why don't we do it and then have the news conference a week later to announce, guess what? We had it totally successful. We're going to have a very much different country. We're going to have a great country again. We are the laughing stock of the world. We're the laughing stock of the world. Now, Iran is emboldened. They're emboldened. We gave them all that money. We gave them everything they wanted. We have a clear path. They have a clear path to nuclear in 10 years. They'll go faster than that, but they have a clear path. If they decide to adhere by their agreement, which they haven't, they're already testing missiles and everything else, and now they're rich as hell. They were ready to fail. And we gave them all this money. We gave them all this power. And no matter what, Kerry, who took crooked Hillary's place, this guy never walked. The only time he walked was to be in a bicycle race when he fell and broke his leg, right? Then he walks in 3 weeks later on crutches. What a group we have, a group of real losers. That's what we've got. And the only thing Obama does, the only thing he does is campaign. He ought to work on jobs. He ought to work on our military so that instead of being depleted, it'll be the opposite. He ought to help our veterans who are being treated horribly. In the latest insult to America, the government of Iran, did you hear this one? This just happened last night, is demanding, quote, many billions of dollars in new ransom payments for an American businessman and his ailing father. Adding to the insult, Iran has released a video of their captive that includes footage from earlier this year of American soldiers being forced to their knees at gunpoint. So we gave them back $150 billion. And don't forget our sailors, the 10 sailors where they got off course and instead of saying, hey, folks, come on, get over there, they capture them, they drop them to their knees, they're begging. And the only reason they released them is because the payments started coming in the following day. Stupid they're not. So they released them after making them, humiliating them, and humiliating our country. But now they're asking for many billions of dollars for the gentleman with his father who's very sick. The humiliation for our country never seems to end. It's a humiliation brought on by a Secretary of State who is more interested in getting paid by foreign countries than in representing the country in which she lives. To cover up her crime as Secretary of State, crooked Hillary Clinton bleached and deleted 33,000 emails